I'm Redslash, and
I'm Dan.
right on. Thanks for being with me, Jan.
Yeah.
Dan. And yeah, this is Chrono Trigger Any percent, contrasted with the other Chrono Trigger Any percent, which is called No LSS, No Level Shell Skip, and it really only affects the very end of the game. It's kind of a tough RNG trick towards the end, but it's come a long way. It's a little bit more consistent than it used to be, if you've heard of LSS before. So right off the bat, we're naming our characters just one letter long. Saves quite a few frames. I also started a new game within a certain frame window on the file select screen to manipulate the RNG. Chrono Trigger is kind of a unique RPG in that the RNG in battles is very controllable. There's only one byte for the RNG value in Chrono Trigger, and it's very simple. I'll explain more about that later. Oh, that's all right.
Yeah, it's the intro, so I'll let you do most of the talking here. Right.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. Ooh, yeah. That's gonna hurt. He might need a mushroom to recover his HP. I don't know. It's kind of funny. There's a lot of similarities design-wise between Chrono Trigger and SMRPG, Super Mario RPG rather. But I won't get into that really. So here we are recruiting our first party member. Her name is E. Actually, if you guys have any preferences for character names later on, you know, I'll take recommendations. Here I'm going to attempt to do a candy skip. Didn't really get close there. So there are a couple big glitches in Chrono Trigger that we're going to make use of coming up in about 5-10 minutes. But apart from that, it's really a pretty linear run. Like, we don't really do any grinding, no extra battles. We try to avoid as many encounters as possible. Yeah, it's not a particularly difficult RPG, even casually, if you know the right strats to do. So in a speedrun, it's even more. You just kind of fly through it, which I'll attempt to do. Huh. Should I explain the plot a little bit, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, should I? All right.
Yeah, I need that.
Okay, so here is our best friend Luca has built this invention. It's supposed to be a teleporter, but something about the pendant that our new friend Marl is wearing turns this into a time portal. You'll find that out pretty soon. So
Maybe it went wrong because she wasn't centered properly on that teleporting pad.
that might be the case.
Yeah, kind of to the bottom left, yeah.
What was supposed to happen, like with the story intended, was for Chrono to try the telepod first, and you verify that it's working. And then, so this is a total surprise when it doesn't work, when Morrow comes through it. Okay, so I'll talk about the battle RNG a little bit. That's really the only, there's RNG aside from the battles, but it only comes into play in a couple minor places. The battle RNG is only affected by actions that you do in battle and also the frame that you load your game on. So here I'm in, and so the RNG is divided up into basically 8 windows, each with half windows. So there's only 16 possible windows you can load your game into. that make sense? I'll touch on
Nice
that more
fix.
later. So here's our first battle. Yeah. So I want to try to take no hits in this fight. Oop. I targeted the wrong guy, actually. So taking one hit's not really any different.
So the combat's kind of turn-based, but like there's distance and stuff.
Yeah, you'll see later on, but the manipulating RNG lets us kind of script fights, so to speak. In other words, we try to take the same actions every time, so that, you know, if we know when the RNG is starting in a fight, then we can always have it end on the same value, and then that carries on to the next fight and so forth. So it's kind of a string that we're following. All right, so a little bit of story exposition here. Yeah.
Welcome to the couch.
Oh, word. I can't hear you on here. I don't know if they can hear you.
That's okay.
Oh wow,
Oh,
that was off.
Oh, there we are.
I swear I'm tech literate.
No worries.
The power
Anyways,
What's your name?
I am Kyle.
Kyle.
Username like the rogue.
Nice to meet you, Kyle. I'm
What's
Redslash.
up? So this being like one of the few JRPGs or classic JRPGs like I've never played, how bad is the JRPG fluff?
Fluff. Oh. I don't know. It's very much a beginner's RPG. I would probably say. It's actually pretty minimalistic. What do you mean by fluff, though? Actually.
Like a lot of JRPGs tend to use are very numbers heavy and RNG heavy, which gives like that artificial difficulty to the game. Like early Final Fantasy and a lot of early Tales games are pretty bad about that.
Word. Yeah. No, this RPG in particular, there's actually very few, even items, inventory, stuff that you can pick up, and I don't know, the calculations in the fights are. Oh no, could we? Well. His mic is a little loud for me. Maybe it could be turned down. In any case.
We got a comment in the chat from
It's figuring it as we go.
Yo.
saying that Redslash's soothing voice gives me a rock hard insert term here.
Right on.
So just wanted to let you know, man. Just wanted to let you know.
Thanks for
Gives him a
letting me-
rock hard Chrono Trigger.
Yo.
Ooh. I'll chrono your trigger.
Please don't.
Credits to Connor Kelly for that joke. I just copied him.
Alright, so that was kind of a cutscene showing that our party member Marl is like a distant descendant of the queen in this era. And because Marl appeared unexpectedly in this era, they're searching for the queen who got kidnapped, but they found Marl and mistook her for the queen, and now we gotta go find the queen. Because if the queen disappears, then Marl disappears. And probably a lot worse things than that too, but anyway. Here's another battle. In fact, I forgot to do something. This might be sloppy.
All right, we got a $25 donation from Pyuksul. Go get him, Redlash. Let's see that first try LSS.
Thanks, Plexel. Welcome. I kind of goofed a little bit here. I was supposed to learn a... oh my god. I was supposed to learn Fire Whirl and some other techs. I think we'll survive, though. So, this game kind of has a secret, like, mechanic in your control settings. If you set your battle menu to memory, you can hold your menu button to auto attack. This is pretty bad. Don't look. This is supposed to be a really fast fight, but I forgot that there's actually a little bit of grinding in Chrono Trigger. Okay. Woof, lad. I should actually kill that guy. Oh, don't hit that guy. Well,
so you were supposed to die, right?
oh, yeah. You can tell, can't you? I should be not attacking that guy, dude.
It's got a death warp.
Golly, you can even see the HP. This is horrible.
So who are these snake girls, and what's the story here?
I should probably just start over as a story. This is embarrassing. Oh my god. Alright, am I gonna survive? I don't think so. I kind of drug that out. Okay.
So what went wrong anyway?
I forgot to do some fights and learn a tech to kill these fast.
So it's like level up and stuff like that?
Yeah. Well, you know, it's learning fire. That's pretty bad. Oh, man. I'm
Think it
sorry,
might be
guys.
possible?
Huh?
No. Is it over?
It's over.
That's
Practice.
the run.
Yeah.
GG. What's next? No.
Oh my god.
It's okay.
What I could do is, I don't know. Oh.
I mean, just like, what's the worst? Like, just reset, you know.
I suppose. I mean, I have to start over.
It's okay. I have like a lot of questions. So this is a good
Okay.
time. So, so what were you in the middle of? Like, so you have to save the queen, right?
Yeah. Let's see. Oh.
O is
I'm
my
so sorry.
O is my favorite name.
Yeah, word. Okay. Well,
So that's something I've always wondered with speedrunning RPGs. Is like, do you plot this all out in advance?
yeah, for this game, yes, very much so.
So welcome to O Trigger.
Yeah, word. Welcome.
It's this is a JRPG on the SNES, right? It's like how's this
Yep.
one gonna be? Like 3 hours?
Yeah, it should be a lot less than 3 hours, in fact.
So what's the
So-
story?
Story?
Is that O's
Mm.
mom?
Oh, yeah. Chrono's mom. She wakes us up. It's the Millennial Fair. And they're celebrating the 1000th year of the Kingdom of Guardia. Wow.
You know, is anyone's name gonna be like I or you?
We could do that if anybody has any suggestions. I'll take suggestions.
That's like
how about if we take donations for names?
IR died or something like that.
Absolutely. If anyone wants to donate for a name,
I am all down for that.
this is the run.
So when's the next naming going to be happening?
Classic anime.
Let's see. You can name Frog. He's the next guy coming up. If there's any suggestion from Morrow right now.
So wait, are you in a naming stage right now?
Yeah.
All right, so let's leave it there and let's see if we can get a donation for somebody that wants to. Oh no, never mind. We got a speed run, so keep going.
We can have like.
Well, we'll go with the next one.
Yeah, donation incentive like that, right?
All right. Get your name in for Frog. Frog is very much the hero of this run, in fact. So you want to donate for Frog for sure.
Yeah, what's the Frog Knight guy's name? Or is that spoilers? Maybe I shouldn't know the right name.
Yeah, he does have a real name.
Oh.
Oh, didn't get candy skip.
I mean, his name is going to be G now, right?
Yeah, he would be G.
And G's pretty
Very
cool. It's like one of my favorite characters.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man.
So with speedrunning an RPG, do you just does it work like how I assume other platformers work, where you play through the game and you figure out, oh, this can potentially save time, or because there are so many systems and mechanics involved in an RPG, how do you know which ones to game and which ones to optimize?
Well, the fact is, Chrono Trigger is pretty simple as far as RPGs go. There aren't a whole lot of options. In fact, I'll tell you about one of the big glitches we're going to be using. It's called the de-equip glitch. You're not normally able to remove your armor, and so as a strange unintended effect, it actually boosts your magic attack power. So we'll be wanting to use magic as much as possible, and that really, that'll give us some a huge or most DPS. And
so
you really don't want to deviate from some script that uses magic. But there is another item that you get called the Berserker, and that's what all of our new strats have been using. Because the Berserker, it gives your character an auto attack status, so they'll be just attacking on their own, targeting enemies on their own, and so forth. So RNG manipulation is very important for the Berserker. But it also boosts their attack and defense by 150%. 250%, I should say. So, yeah, that's strats that use Berserker are very, very good.
So, you say that's a relatively new strat that you've been incorporating into runs. How did that get found?
Well, the fact is, we had been using it, but we didn't realize that it was boosting our attack that much, which is kind of funny. Or, actually, what made it viable was even the defense, 150%. It was very unexpected. So, but it can be very dangerous if you deviate from the RNG, because then you have a character that you have no control over. You have to keep up with them. But, all right, let's get into it.
So it saves time if you have auto attack instead of choosing to attack every time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And
so when you de-equip, is that it's like DBZ where you just take off your armor and it's really heavy? Right.
Pretty much.
I mean, the artist is Dragon Ball Z artist, right? This game.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
And same concept. It's all intended. It's if you want to do glitches, for instance.
Yeah, Toriyama.
Yeah, clearly.
For sure. There's also a sequel to this game, Chrono Cross, for the PlayStation. It's very different from Chrono Trigger, and some people don't really like it as a sequel to Chrono Trigger, but it's a great game in its own right. And I feel that one of the reasons it doesn't really feel like a sequel is because it has a different artist, even. If it was a Toriyama doing the art for Chrono Cross, it would have been a totally different experience. But, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't really looked much into Chrono Cross, but everything I've seen from Chrono Trigger is very Toriyama in that, like, his particular aesthetic and the way he designs his worlds. It's very cartoony, realistic.
Yeah, I think some of the Toriyama humor went into the characters as well. I think he had some,
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Like, how much, like, aside from obviously the character and art design, like, how much say did he have on the story and the way it was presented in the game?
Yeah, I'm really curious about that, but I think it's perceptible that he did have some influence. Yeah.
Yeah, my roommate has been watching a lot of Dragon Ball Z Kai, and it's a lot goofier than like the original run of DBZ, and it feels very much like Toriyama. So his very characteristic, very Japanese sense of humor.
Yeah, it's very unique. All right. So, the reason Morrow disappeared there is because she came back in time when there was a search party going on for the Queen, and we find out that Morrow is the descendant of the Queen. And so she was mistaken. When she was mistaken for the Queen, they called off the search, thinking that the Queen is safe and sound, when actually she's in grave danger. And we have to take it upon ourselves to go find her and rescue her.
So how hand-wavy is the time travel?
Yeah. The fact that... I don't know.
I'll assume your reaction is don't think about it.
Yeah, well, for a time travel game, there's not really a whole lot of going back to the past and change the future. There's just a few things. Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
It's not like Sonic 06.
Did that have time travel?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sonic has time travel.
Yeah.
It made no sense a lot of time.
Yeah, I think Sonic has had time travel since some of the early games, I think. Forgot about that.
But they've definitely done it where he's like gone so fast he's traveled through time, right? That's definitely been a Sonic mechanic, right? If not, they're missing out.
With some like braid, but with like special relativity, stuff like that. Time slows down if you go faster.
All right. So here's the
So what's a
fight.
rolly rider?
Rolly rider is a guy who rides on a rolly.
Nice. Amazing.
Yeah.
I want to be a rolly rider one day.
Dude, heck yeah.
Just gotta believe.
Yeah.
I don't know what a rolly is, and I don't... these are green imps.
So, again, I haven't played Chrono Trigger before at all, and I was just watching you walk through the forest. Are these scripted or RNG encounters?
These are... well, yeah, there's no random battles in Chrono Trigger.
Oh, thank God.
So, yeah, so I'm hitting specific triggers, like, on the ground. They're, like, invisible spots. So, in fact, there's even a trigger right here that I'm walking around to avoid. It's a matter of just memorizing where the triggers are. And they are, in fact, just invisible sprites. And the sprites are all, one tile big, 16 by 16 pixels. So it's all, just a matter of avoiding those little squares, those spots.
Don't die.
Thank you. Okay. Yo. PVMs. Progress.
Interesting technology was brought into the room.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. You didn't die.
We did it, dude.
That was fast.
Okay, so I think we glossed over it last time, but what were you missing?
I was missing.
Oh, you died.
I was missing intentionally taking those 2 fights in the forest, which I did this time to learn basically magic. All right, here's Frog. Did we have any ideas for his name?
Frog.
Frog with a
Froge?
with a G on the end. All right, that entails typing out Frog and
Yeah, like Doge, but a frog.
All right, I'm down. I'm locking it in.
Well, for your name got in.
All right.
PogChamp.
All right, we got a $15 donation from Drago. He says, "Hello, please name the frog."
Is there going to be sequence breaks later on, by the way?
There won't really be any sequence breaks, but we are going to be facing...
Name the frog what? Name the frog what?
What? Name him what?
I guess those like confuse me a lot. So if there isn't a lot of that, that's good.
All right. So I could be explaining this glitch that I'm doing. It'll be more prominent later on, but besides the de-equip glitch, the other major glitch we use is called Fade Out, and it entails carrying a drawer transition with you while it's trying to transition to the next room, and stepping on various event triggers while you're carrying that, and then you're instantly taken to the next room, but that trigger has been hit and it counts as, I don't know. So we're going to be skipping some boss fights that way, and also there's another neat thing you can do with that, which is if you are standing on a save point when the game transitions you to another room, then it tricks the game into thinking you're perpetually on a save point and you can save anywhere. What's actually happening though, well, that'll be in the next room here. What's actually happening is that it's the save point itself that's watching your coordinate to decide whether to take away your save ability, your save, ability. So since you never step off the save point, it can't take it away. You'll see how that's used in a moment.
Somewhere in Japan, a programmer is crying.
Is it possible to have 6-letter names, by the way?
No, sorry.
Okay, so
Should've
some guy
mentioned.
wanted Walrus, but I guess that's...
Walrus.
We could do
Walroo?
Yeah, Walroo.
Waluigi.
It's like Wall-E, but... Oh, Waluigi.
Alright.
Oh, no. People are saying it.
That was like Yoshi trying to sound like Waluigi. Which I guess was the point, maybe?
Is this the Wa?
Keep at it, champ.
Okay.
I mean,
So
do
here
you have
we are.
like a Waluigi, but Wall-E, crossover?
Okay. So now we're in the boss room. I saved on the tile where the boss is supposed to be, initiating the cutscene for the boss, really. And so this dialogue is playing out. I'm supposed to be frozen in place, It's supposed to be a pretty dire-looking thing going on, but I'm just running around. So here's who we thought was the Chancellor of Guardia Kingdom. Oh, we let out the real Chancellor from the box. And the fake one is transforming into a beast, but if a battle starts, but the enemies are off screen, then you win the battle instantly.
So we just got a $50 donation from Daniel, which actually puts us at 416
Yo.
so far in our donation goal.
Wow. And the goal is 1,000?
The goal is 1,000,
Nice.
and we're almost halfway there.
Yo.
You might say we're living on a prayer. Wow, that's a ridiculously high backseat on the left chair.
Work, dude.
So if you're not breaking the game, which you are, what is average playtime to complete the main story?
I'm not. I've heard. I don't know. It's not a super long game. I've heard maybe 15, 20 hours, something like that.
That seems, I guess by modern RPG standards, that seems pretty short.
It could be.
But it's interesting that you said, yeah, I guess I do just need to play it because it's interesting that you say that it's a very
I'm not good at.
slim, not slim's probably the wrong word, but just comparatively, like the gameplay mechanics are more trimmed down than more traditional RPGs.
Maybe 10 to 15 is what I'm thinking. It's. I don't know. I'm not so good at those estimates. Because I have a lot of memories as a kid playing through this, trying to find every little secret, and that probably inflated my playtime a little bit. Okay, so here we go. We've got Morrow back. So we still have the save anywhere status, which I'm going to make use of right here to skip a fight, and it saves about 3 seconds. And I'm going to load about half second on the file select screen to set up RNG for the next dungeon. Oh. So there we go. There was supposed to be an encounter there. But we dodged it. Alright, so coming up is, let's see. So, when we rescue that, the real Chancellor, his line is kind of like, you know, we must create a criminal justice system to make sure that, you know, fiends like Yakra, who kidnapped the Queen, are brought to justice. And that's kind of foreshadowing for what's going to happen in this next scene. Yeah. So, Chrono and Morrow both disappeared. And so the assumption is that Chrono is the one who kidnapped Morrow. And the reaction to that is going to be a little bit overboard. It's hard to say. But Morrow is the princess of the present era kingdom. So here's the trial. Pretty good music. Can you guys hear the music? A little bit? Can you guys hear the music? Alright, cool. Good, good.
Yeah, is there something about Chrono Trigger music that gets used in like freeware games? Because I swear I heard like half of these somewhere else before.
Oh, word.
I never played this game, never saw this game, you know?
I don't know. Yeah, it's
yeah.
Yeah, it's also pretty well known for its music. It
And
was
these songs are pretty good, so it's
Mhm.
also that, right?
Yeah, the music was composed by Yasunori Mitsuda, and
Nice.
he's composed a few games. Let's see.
All right, so we got a $6 donation from Furret Turret. Retroactivity for Froggy. But I think retroactivity is a little bit too long.
So we also have another name. It's coming up in not shortly. There's a robot character, Robo, and then there's Ayla, the cave woman, and let's see. So I'm answering these questions by the Chancellor here, trying for a guilty verdict, because guilty saves you about 5 seconds in just pure dialogue. So it's this juror right here, yes, determines that we're guilty. We know what the other jurors will do, but this second juror for some reason is just a 50% chance. So we did save that 5 seconds or so.
Just look at the audience.
So let's see. So the next boss coming up, we're going to be fighting at a pretty low level. So all the stuff we collected up to now, which isn't very much, contributes to being able to just barely defeat that guy. We did pick up a sword and the power glove item and 2 power tabs. There's items in the game that you can use to permanently increase stats, and they're all over the place, but we're only going to pick up a few because in the beginning of the game they're way more useful, because a boost of 1 point is pretty significant in the early game.
Dude, did that guy just slash him?
Yeah, dude, we're down for the count.
Man, rude. Yeah.
I'm gonna do a safety save here. It's better to do some of those. All right. And actually, those power tabs were also important for this fight right here. And I loaded my RNG in a certain window to just kind of maximize the roll that I'm going to do on this guy. So I'm going to knock one out. And the other one that I'm going to fight has 60 HP. And so we're looking for a roll of exactly 60. Alright. And then we'll carry that RNG through to the tank, assuming that I don't get in any extra fights here. There's some fight dodges, some more complicated than others. One of them is this fade out all the way to the middle of the bridge. It's a long bridge. So I'm carrying the door transition to the previous room with me, so that when I hit this fight trigger, I'll just be ported right out, and that fight will be counted as done. And that way I preserve my RNG, and also I don't have to go through the trouble of fighting kind of a long fight. We can knock these guys out. And these guards are just pure RNG as well, which way they're going to face. But once they face away from you, you always have plenty of time to run and knock them out. But sometimes they take a long time to face away from you. And sometimes they face away from you like immediately, and you don't even have to stop. And that's pretty godly when that happens. All right. So in an earlier menu, I did also de-equip Luca to give her that magic attack boost I mentioned earlier. So she's the only one who has a fire move right now, or a magic move. So I'll be making a little bit of use of that. So the Dragon Tank, he shoots projectiles, and then he's kind of on a counter too to like run us over with his wheels, and you'll see how much damage that does. It's pretty bad. So we want to go ahead and try to kill him before he does that a second time. You'll see how much damage it does. Getting crits. That's planned. Alright, there we go. Gotta remember to hold the button here. Okay, that's the hard part. Alright. There we go. D-tank down. This is cool animation too.
I mean, if a tank is exploding, I would run up to it, right?
Oh yeah, dude. It's an expensive piece of equipment. So we left the Chancellor, you might have noticed, dangling as a bridge when we ran across him, but somehow he's caught up to us pretty fast. He's a beast. Maybe literally. But we'll never find out in this run.
So having been watching the stream, and about how much of the run would you say is cutscenes?
Well, I don't know. It's hard to say. It's funny you mention the Japanese version does save quite a lot of time text-wise. It's about 6 minutes it saves. But the thing is, in the Japanese version, the de-equip glitch, which boosts your magic attack power, that's not the case in the Japanese version. So the fights are way slower, and it's...
Wait, what would have happened with localization that messed with a gameplay mechanic?
No idea, but, maybe it was intended. Who knows? Probably not, though. But yeah, it is an unintended, ability to take off equipment. So they wouldn't have known, that there was any effect there, or maybe, I don't know, if by chance they did know, they would have figured it wouldn't affect normal gameplay. So here is kind of a cool example of a platforming section in Chrono Trigger. We're actually using the text boxes while they're open to, for whatever reason, we're able to run across battle triggers without triggering them while text is open. And that's the only place in the game that we make use of that mechanic. Or whatever it is.
So we actually have a name for Frog right now, right?
Yeah, Frog is named.
All right, so who's
Yeah.
the next one after Frog?
Robo.
So
will be coming up in a
with
bit.
Robo, if anybody wants us to, or if anybody wants to name Robo, we'll take a $5 to $10 donation, and whoever gets one in will name Robo to their naming.
By the way, we're in the future. It's a very apocalyptic-looking future, and coming up is where we're meant to find out why our future is all destroyed and so forth. But we're actually going to skip that cutscene. So, if you want, I can tell you more about who the final enemy of the game is and so forth. This is also a boss skip here, by the way. What am I doing? Okay. Alright, there we go. So I used the fade out glitch to skip that boss just by fading across the room. It doesn't even require save anywhere to do so. What's kind of interesting about that room, though, speaking of, ambiguous, was the glitch intended or not, or what did the devs know about it? In this boss room, if you press your menu button to open a menu, it does spawn a pretty tough battle. So you're really punished for opening your menu. But I play on with the controls swapped so that I can avoid that happening. So I don't know, that kind of tells me that maybe the devs knew about, possibly, skipping things like that, and kind of tried to patch it in a really strange way. And that rat that I just caught for the password also kind of warns you, if you've changed your controls, the password is going to be different, so be careful. So, those two things together kind of makes you think, maybe they knew. Alright, so here is the cutscene that I'm loading into the middle of. And there's some other funny effects too with the camera.
Like pause buffering, right?
Yeah, basically.
So you said cutscenes take up about 20 minutes of this run?
Oh, I'm not sure.
That'd be about like 9% of the run.
I really don't. I have no idea. But
I feel like there's definitely a reason that whenever you see an RPG or JRPG speedrun, they're very long.
Yeah, a lot of it is the text. So that is kind of a reason why having good mashing ability really gives you an advantage in a game like this. And I don't know, we've toyed with the idea of allowing turbo. It's not very serious, I don't know. It's just kind of interesting that I don't know. Turbo's always been allowed in the Japanese version, or sorry, the Japanese communities. And so, but turbo is banned in the SRL and SDA communities. Generally, every game kind of determines its own rules. Every game community.
Okay, is the run 3 hours or 3 hours and 50 minutes? I I can't take it right now.
The world record for this is about 2.5 hours. But there is a very hard trick at the end that could totally,
Yeah.
that will put me over that, absolutely. Because I think I got it second try in world record. It's the Lavos shell skip. And by the way, Lavos is the final enemy in the game, the final boss. And there's 3 phases to it. And the shell phase is just this really long fight. It's like a 15-minute fight. And so if you can skip it, you save a lot of time.
So with Dragonar Blood Rage, he actually donated $15 to name the frog either Fatso or Walrus. Walrus? Walrus.
The frog or the robot?
I think it was the frog is what he's wanting.
Okay, we actually have frog named already. Yeah, sorry if I wasn't clear about that. I apologize. But
then if not, it'll be the next one that we'll get. We'll either name it Walrus or Fatso.
Okay, word. We can do. So losing that bike race would cost about a minute. It's pretty funny that losing the race was in world record at one point. It was the first sub 3 run of Chrono Trigger. Lost to Johnny, the bike race. Good times. Here is the robot. I wonder if they can see the way I hold the controller. I could have commented. I have a kind of a strange control scheme. I use dash on the L button so that I can move around with one hand. I think it makes the run a little more relaxing if you have a free hand sometimes. All right, Fatso or Walrus?
I think it was Walrus.
Oh, Walrus.
But WALRS. Let's double check the chat real quick. But
Walrus. Fatso's
yeah,
fine
because
too.
they had wanted to Warls.
Is that what we're doing? Or WRL US?
Let's see here. Going back real quick. Yeah, they wanted Walrus, but that's a 6-letter word.
Mm-hmm.
So take out the U maybe.
Wallers?
Wallers.
Yeah.
Walrus.
Warls.
So, funny story. We also got a $5 donation
Walrus
from
the Robo.
Goodnight Girl asking if the robot's name could be Crow, but we already had the Walrus donation, so
It's with the theme because Robot has the T gone. So,
So I guess next character we'll have to name Crow.
Okay, next character is Ayla, the cave girl. And that'll be it for the characters.
So you can only control 3 characters at a time in combat, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So does this suffer again? Because I haven't played this before, and I'm coming at it from other JRPGs for frame of reference. Are there objectively is there objectively the best 3 characters you can use?
Oh,
Or are they all different and unique enough where it's if you know how to use them well and play them well enough, you can do pretty well with anybody?
yeah. Let's see. So, Chrono, your main character, well, for the part of the game that I'm going to be playing, is always required to be in the lead. and then at certain points in the story, there will be a second character will be locked in, and you can't change him out. So, on a couple of like right now, I think Robo is required to be in, but later on when we have a choice, we're going to be using Luca pretty often because she has the magic power boost.
Right, that whole shenanigans.
Yeah, and then Robo is also a very strong choice because, well, okay, well, I mean, we're going to get Ayla as well later. So, because we really aren't, grinding at all or anything, we're actually pretty low level. And so the newest character addition to our team is going to go ahead and be the character we want to use the most because they're the highest level coming in. But as for, like a more casual context, I'm not really sure. I think Ayla is still a very strong choice. She doesn't use magic, but her attack power is crazy. Also, she's a very nice character to use in a speedrun because she's a woman of few words. Not a lot of dialogue. Alright, so here is kind of like one of the, probably the big RNG determinants here. This fight is a mixture of red and green slimes. The greens are a lot weaker and the reds are, strong. And if you play this wrong, they'll do, this bad counterattack. If you hit specifically if you hit a green while it's near a red. I'm doing that on purpose here, hoping that this is a one-shot, and it is. So that was a good play. Otherwise I'm trying to get... Ooh. Nope. Alright, that green I did 7 before to it, so that's, yeah, definitely done. Looks like I can fit another Cyclone in right here. No. It's not a bad fight, as long as I don't roll too many ones. These guys have a lot of defense. They only have 10 HP, but let's see if they group up. I don't think they've even attacked me. Alright.
Well.
So that's unfortunate because now I have to take a moment to heal after the fight. And they weren't even grouped up when the Cyclone hit. That's funny.
Do you need you need to be at a certain HP threshold?
I need to be basically full HP because the boss is coming up and it's pretty scary.
And you know you're going to take damage, or is this just risk mitigation?
I'm absolutely going to take damage. And yeah, I did pick up a revive, but it doesn't really help for the boss because the boss is just too fast and I don't know. So the funny thing about this password, I forgot to do the grip, but so it's each of the face buttons in order, but you can also just hold all the face buttons. Face buttons to enter the password.
Oh my god!
That's like the newest thing we discovered.
You can just button mash.
Yeah, no, you just hold.
Just hold it like that.
Yeah,
that's great.
Just put your palm on it, or whatever.
So from the sounds of it, you're still pretty regularly finding optimizations and cuts.
Yeah, I mean they're getting harder and harder to find, but
well, yeah, but
we haven't found it. Well, when I say recently, I mean summer before last is when we found out we could.
Well, considering this is what, a 20-year-old game,
yeah,
that's
right.
pretty recent.
Yeah, 22, I think now.
Wow,
out.
This game could legally drink.
It could, yeah. All right, let's see.
Hey everybody that was in here for the morning stream. This is Richter. I'm actually going to be heading out here right now, actually, and my good friend Heinz is going to be taking over for the majority of this evening. If y'all liked what you heard, I actually stream from time to time on Twitch. You can search for me as Richter. I'm also going to be talking in chat to people as well.
Getting pretty dark.
So if you like what you hear, give me a like or a follow.
No.
Later, everybody.
Interpersonal violence.
Dang. See it. He's out. So here we go. We only have 2 party members versus 6 of these guys.
I like those odds.
Indeed.
Oh, and this is the boss fight.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the safest strat to use to do that heal there. Instead of doing the heal like as soon as possible, I wait and kind of. Oh, why did I do that? It doesn't matter. I meant to kill the back row, but we're not in danger.
Does positioning matter much? Because it does seem like, which is a very nice deviation from other JRPGs, instead of having like set positions for the enemies, they kind of just show up. It's very seamless from overworld into combat.
Yeah, there is an element of that, but for the most part, actually, the positioning is pretty predictable. They do kind of get in, they kind of get into formation, and then the fight starts. But that does come into play in a few cases.
We have a $10 donation from Lilat R, which says,
Yep.
"Hey guys, sorry I wasn't able to make it to this event. Good luck Redslash on the run. Don't miss Shell Skip." This
Wait, I'm
goes
sorry, has
towards-
Luca just been passed out this entire time?
Oh, Marl?
Oh, is
yeah,
that it? Okay.
Yeah,
that's
sorry.
right.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sorry,
guess so.
I haven't played this game.
I didn't think about that, but yeah. So Lucas says, "I hope I never have to do that again." In regards to fixing up Robo. All right. So here we have a kind of a funny time travel plot device, which is when you enter a portal with 4 characters, you come here instead of the intended destination of the portal, and this is kind of this becomes kind of the hub for all of our moving around through the story. Yeah, we have kind of a guide here, the guru, or sorry, he's the old man. He explains time travel, and yeah, he knows a lot. So, okay, let's see.
They're introducing the hub pretty late into the game.
I suppose.
Oh, relatively.
Yeah. It would be very nice to have earlier access to this place. So yeah, you're gonna be seeing that room quite a few times. And here, by the way, is the Master of War, Specchio, and he is going to teach us magic. So he's kind of, I don't know, he's kind of an iconic character in Chrono Trigger. He tells you that in order to learn magic, we have to walk around the room 3 times. So if you want to walk around your room 3 times at home, think magic. And we'll try not to. I try to cut some corners, but if I cut them too close, there's a chance I'll fail the task. There we go.
That was ridiculous. Oh, so is this where your DPS spikes?
Absolutely, yeah. Not only do we learn like the 3. There we go. We gotta skip fighting him too. Like 3 pretty good magic attacks. The game actually catches us up on our skills that we skipped learning. So we learned lightning, fire, and ice, but we also learned for Maro, aura, and provoke. For Chrono, he learned slash, which is also elemental. And slash is great because it's a very, very fast animation, and it's about as powerful as his actual lightning move. So you're going to see a slash right here, in fact. I'm going to be doing lots of slashes.
So fights then are typically going to go up faster from this point. Oh, actually, I guess I will see.
Yeah, basically. Actually, yeah. There we go. If Marl had gotten a crit there, she would have one-shot that guy. But it's pretty rare these days to see a crit. Because of fighting our series in a different way, actually lowers the chance that we're going to see a crit. So, kind of unfortunate. So, oh, by the way, you can also run from fights. Not every fight, but lots of them. You just by holding L and R. And while you're holding L and R, it counts up to 2 seconds. The game counts to 2 seconds, and then it'll run. You'll escape. But it also counts while you're in your menu. So that's why I'm opening my menu and then exiting. And I'm not in danger of being attacked by an enemy while running, but it's that Marl has the Berserk on. She would be getting an attack in and wasting time. Oh. So there's a fade out skip for a fight. And here's a little skip there for the bats. And just avoiding a couple more. And so there's another boss skip coming up, which is very much like the first boss skip, Yakra, in that we're going to carry a save point. We're going to get save anywhere.
Oh, and then you're going to mess with the cutscene and then appear off screen? I think that was the skip that you used?
Yeah, so let's see. We actually want to save right on actually get past the trigger here. Triggers are kind of funny in Chrono Trigger because...
Hey.
There we go. Because they kind of they take a variable amount of time between when you touch it to when the event activates, and so I don't know. It feels more like natural, I suppose.
Wait, it counts or tracks time from the trigger?
Sorta. Well, it's because just the way events or object events are processed, like it checks like every 8 or 12 frames. So you kind of want to run across the trigger during one of the 12 frame windows instead of one of the 8 frame windows, and then you get some more distance, and then you can save actually past the trigger. So that's what happened in the Yakra fight, or Yakra skip. Or sorry, Hecarim skip. Similar names. And so we do want to continue to use save anywhere, but End of Time has a save point in it, which will take away save anywhere. So we need to get it again somehow, and we can actually get it from the End of Time. And this is kind of like a preview of what the LSS trick is going to be. LSS is going to happen in this room, by the way. So I'm picking up... Oh, sorry. I'm picking up a warp while I have... I'm kind of stacking it underneath of the old man's text. Okay, let's see. I'm kind of having to guess there. Yeah, okay, there we go. And then... I don't know. How should I explain this? So... I was activating the heal bucket like on a certain frame. It's not very hard. It's like 3 out of 4 frames are good while that text box is writing out. And just having those line up is what allows me to open my character swap menu while I'm zipping off to be warped, and then if you do swap characters, then you regain control. And then I was able to run over to the save point and be standing on the save point when the game initiated the the time gate. So I don't know if that makes sense, but
Not particularly, but you
Okay.
sound like you know what you're talking about.
okay. It's I don't know. It's not too complex to do. There's just a lot of moving parts. But in any case, I have Save Anywhere again, so I'm going to be using that to skip another boss very shortly. Oh, by the way, if you scroll an NPC off the screen while he has some dialogue, it closes his text instantly. So that's called text canceling. So I did that a little bit with the chef. So there we go. He gave us some jerky and a power tab. I don't need. We're gonna use the power tab. We don't really need it, but that's just to advance the story, so that we can face the boss on the bridge. Yeah. Okay. So here we go. This is kind of tough movement.
Yeah.
So that should be it. So that first one was to skip the captain saying, stay back, it's too dangerous. Oh. Because what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to give him the jerky, and then he's like, all right, we'll recruit you in our army so you can go fight the guy for us. But we'll skip him, and then we'll skip the fights that lead up to the boss. So this guy's supposed to spawn the boss, but we're just gonna get past him. Anyway, so that's a boss skip. I'm gonna do some shopping here.
We have another $10 donation from No Irrigation. He says, "Brew scared ya. Scared ya."
Let's see. Okay, let's go. All right. So here we go. Okay. So here is kind of a funny skip. It's pretty much the only one of its kind. Because we saved like underneath this little ledge when we load, then we're on top of the ledge, and we skipped we skipped a cutscene and a couple like forced fights. Okay. So I put an extra attack here. Did I do that right? Yeah, I think so.
I just now realized the things on the right are not health, they're speed.
Oh, yeah, it's your ATB, your turn meter coming
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
Should have known.
Oh yeah, no worries. Yeah. Yeah, if you have any questions about anything at all, go for it. So here I'm just climbing the mountain as fast as I can.
We have another $15 from Space Captain Zemo. He says, "Hey y'all, Space Captain Zemo here, throwing it in for the cause. See y'all here in a little bit. Gotta go fast."
Alright. Waterfall skip. So yeah, there's a bunch of encounters I'm just kind of avoiding. And I'll save. Make a safety save, I suppose. Yeah. So this is it's kind of a punishing RNG manipulation segment here, because we're carrying RNG from the bottom of the mountain. And if you get in any fights by accident, then basically the process is that you'd want to kind of reset and load again from the bottom. But I'm gonna try to do if something goes wrong, I'm just gonna load from the save point and kind of just wing it. I did some extra preparation down, and I did some shopping that we usually skip. So RNG manipulation is important here because Chrono is berserked and he's auto-targeting these guys. If you hit the right guy, he does like a big counterattack on you. And it also is just slower because if you defeat either one, then they're both defeated. So we just want to focus on one. So, and because of the way we did this fight, we kind of manipulate some critical hits for Chrono in this next fight. I'm just going to glance at some notes real quick. Okay.
For those watching the stream, Redslash just pulled out a small list of Unabomber-like notes. And I assume they are how he is knowing where to go and what to do.
Yeah, just some boss notes. I'm pretty used to actually following notes while I do runs. Just because we are pretty low level. Fights, even though we have the magic boost and so forth, fights are pretty long. And I just need something to look at to not forget where I am.
Was that funny dance, the fusion dance or something?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Just like hopping around in place and then crossing each other.
By their powers combined, they're horribly disgusting. Yeah, this was, I guess, also during the time where Toriyama was doing art for Dragon Warrior?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess in addition to doing Dragon Ball and DBZ, he was doing a lot.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. So yeah, this is a very funny script because we're also kind of manipulating Masa's movement. You know, if he's approaching a character to attack, but because of in response to our actions, he's changing his mind. He's too indecisive about who he wants to attack, so he's kind of stuck in this phase.
Interesting. So in this case, the enemy's positioning does dictate or is affecting combat.
Yeah, yeah, we're kind of actually advancing the RNG in such a way that, yeah. Well, the enemy targeting AI in Chrono Trigger is kind of bugged in a few places. Like, you'll see another boss coming up in a little bit where that really comes into play. Let's see. It's the boss after the next one coming up.
We have received $15 from Chris. He says, "I'm glad you all made this happen. Good luck to my bud Redslash with his run."
Yo, Chris, what's up? Figured it might be you. Alright. Oh, yeah. Okay, so here we go. Now let's do the rest of our shopping. That was a little bit sloppy. I don't need that. Okay. Let's make sure I have everything I need. We, in fact, like, after this shopping trip right here, we're not going to do any more shopping. We're not going into any more shops. We don't need money at all for the rest of the run. So that's pretty unique for an RPG, that there's not like a whole lot of crazy menus you have to work through. Alright.
It's Froge.
Yo. Oop. So we got the 2 pieces of this sword. Now we gotta find some way to repair it. And actually, this is kind of a long segment of the game, just repairing the sword. Or collecting the pieces and then repairing it. But once we do, we'll be able to recruit Frog again. Well. Alright, so I'm still carrying the RNG string even after the boss. Through the next couple fights and on, I should be able to carry it, like, for the rest of the game, in fact. We have it kind of routed so that we don't have, there's no forced reloads. Actually, no, there is one, but it's the last dungeon of the game.
If it's cool with you, I'm going to take a picture of those notes.
Okay. Alright, so this is the guy who tells us we gotta go get some of the special ore to repair the sword, and he'll repair it for us. That's our first time seeing him. We didn't really see him for very long. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do that. We're gonna go back to the prehistoric age. And so yeah, our final character to name that you can get names, or we have a name, don't we? It was
Oh, there was Walrus. I don't know about another one.
there was shoot, I forget. It'll come to me, I think. There was another donation. It was for Robo, but we decided to defer it to Ayla. Someone in chat might remember. Do we have a tracker we can access, or is that only by the tech crew? Oops. Didn't really want to do it that way. Hey, oh no, that works. Did they know we're wondering about Ayla's name? Let's see.
Ayla's name was donated to be Crow.
Crow. There we go. What is that? CRO or?
Is that
With a W?
C-R-O-W? Yes, C-R-O-W.
Okay. Cool.
From Goodnight Girl.
Cool. Crow. Works for me. See, in the Japanese version, Ayla actually calls you by a shortened name. So she actually calls Chrono Crow in Japanese, which would be CRO, just shortening it to one syllable. So. Avoid some bites. All right. So it's party time. Hope you're all ready to party. Just kind of sit back here. We're just waiting for Robo to be done doing whatever he's doing. And then this is the soup contest. We're racing to drink 8 bowls of soup. You know, soup is the thing you got to do. You got to do the air quotes. They didn't exactly have refrigeration back in these days, so it might not be fresh or non-fermented.
Yeah, spam that button.
Yeah, dude. You actually don't have to match very hard for this game, for this mini game. That monitor tipping over is entertaining me. Alright, so here we go. Oh, what am I doing? So Ayla had a pretty rough night's sleep there, unfortunately, but she's still by far gonna carry us through this dungeon. So I faded out a little cutscene there with the Ayla's friend Kino, and we find out that it is because of Kino that our gate key was stolen, so we can't return to our other time. We can't use the time gate. So that's what we're after right now. Even though we have the Dream Stone or to repair the Masamune, we gotta get back home. I'll just sit here. Alright, so getting hit for 34 there is the indicator that we're on the right RNG string, and we're actually lining up a lot of critical hits for the boss coming up, and we're gonna have Ayla be berserked. So she's just gonna hopefully land a bunch of crits. And should be able to get like a 2-cycle. 2-cycle is generally the goal for bosses. They kind of follow a formula. They have one like big attack, and we only want to see one of those big attacks. All right. There's a lot of like interesting controller, features you can make use of in the game. Like, for some reason, holding Start and B will exit you out of a menu, like first possible frame. It'll just kick you right out. So like, while that animation for me using an item in my menu was happening, like I just tapped Start and B, so that when that item was done being used, it would kick me out of the menu. That wasn't quite right. Oh.
So are these like prehistoric lizard people, I guess?
Yeah, they're called reptites. Play on reptile. I don't know. they're dinosaurs.
The thing is, like, they're more intelligent than humans right now, right? And in this era.
Yeah, pretty much. They are, the dominant species. Let's see. If I can sneak in this fire. Nope. I made a small mistake, but it's not really dangerous because of the D-equip. It gives us a big boost to magic defense as well. I didn't really mention that, but that is the case.
So I might make some people angry with this comment.
All right.
But I'm watching this right now, and again, having never played this and playing a bunch of other JRPGs, why is this remembered so fondly?
Oh, what's the appeal?
What is the appeal? The story looks, fun and cartoony, but rather basic, and the combat looks like a streamlined version of other Final Fantasy games.
I don't know. I think the story is very much, probably the appealing part, as well as, I don't know, the music is very well received.
I like the songs.
Yeah.
So better than the sum of its parts.
Actually, also I see some analysis about the sprite work, and like, you see like how they're all tiles. They're supposed to be tiles, like, but they're like, look at how like smooth it is, right? And the water to the the ground and like grass. That's pretty significant, I think. So it's like, I at least know that's a pretty good part of the game, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. A lot went into this.
Like
went into
time,
this.
look at that.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? Is like that's when JRPGs, I feel like, and RPGs in general, just feel time way harder than other genres of games.
Yeah. honestly, the graphics though, like you compare it to, recent RPG Maker games, right? It's like compare to that. I mean, like the graphics are pretty good. Sprite works good. I can't say anything about the gameplay though, because I never played it. I can't say anything about the story either, because right now it's like
Well, kind of boosting through it.
I never played. Yeah. Has there been sequence breaks yet? By the way, it happens later on, right?
Yeah, let's see. There really aren't too many
yeah.
sequence breaks.
Maybe I'm thinking of like Final Fantasy VI. That one had like a linear start and then start sequence breaking as you, yeah.
Yeah, word. I actually am not too familiar with the other Final Fantasy runs. But no. Anyway, we're yeah. So there we go. We have the repaired Masamune sword. Masamune. It's usually called the Masamune. We don't really observe the Japanese pronunciations so accurately.
Thankfully, I'm a bit of a weeb, so I can give you a bit of background to what Masamune is, which is the pronunciation. Masamune is historically was one of the more renowned Japanese sword crafters, and in like the mythology of it, Masamune was a sword that possessed a great amount of power because it harbored demonic energy, but that could also be because I play a bunch of video games where that's the trope, so that's where I get my Japanese history from.
Word.
Masamune. It's not like Masamune, Mune.
The internet doesn't count.
Let's see. Well, the other issue is that it's actually not. It's called a completely different name in the Japanese version of the game. It's called the Grand Lion or Grand Leon. So I don't know. Yeah.
That's an interesting thing to change in localization.
Mm-hmm.
Slightly angry that Masamune is not a giant katana.
Yeah, it's definitely not Japanese looking. So here's a little bit of cutscenes. Like this is the most major cutscene sequence in the game. It's Frog's backstory. We would very much like to skip this, but unfortunately, no skip has been found.
Wait, so I just realized this guy's just going on an adventure right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just a series of cutscenes here.
Mm-hmm.
We could be playing this, now I think about it. I mean, I know we don't have to. I mean, it's like a lot of story you skip.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, this is taking place 10 years ago from where we are in the game right now. we but there's nothing preventing us, I guess, from traveling back 10 years and playing through it.
He's on fire.
Oh yeah, rest in peace.
I guess Lightning does that too.
Mhm. Very sad. So these characters, Magus and his General Ozzy, these guys are at war with Guardia Kingdom. You know, Marl's ancestors' kingdom right now, the good guys. But it also, with the frog backstory, it kind of puts more of a personal spin on it. We want revenge for our friend that Magus killed 10 years ago. And the Masamune is apparently the only weapon that's like effective against him, so we absolutely needed it to face him. So. A little bit more cutscenes. A little bit lighter though. So this is even further back in Frog's past.
Is that Masa or Mune right there?
Yeah, it's the same sprite, but that is young Glenn or Frog. Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know why it's the same sprite.
well, how does this timeline work? Maybe they took the template from that kid.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right.
That is funny that it's the same sprite. I don't. That's, you know, those kid sprites were disguises used by Masa and Mune. So maybe they were disguising themselves as young Glenn. I haven't never thought about that.
I mean, the limitations of the hardware
Oh, sure.
and reusing assets.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think it's the same palette too, is what I was pointing out. You could easily give him purple hair, blue hair. Here we go. What's kind of funny is this is the place we traversed through before. And before it scrolled up right there, there was a hidden treasure box in the bushes, which was open because because we opened it earlier. Even though this is supposed to take place 10 years ago.
Right. Wait, can you still see it? Is that like thing that's kind of shining through?
No, you just see a couple pixels here at the bottom. It was fully visible, and then the screen scrolled up. I forgot that it scrolled. So here we're going to stick the sword in the ground. This is the way to do it.
They gave him the name Froze. You can't just like change it back to Glenn, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Laser beam.
Man, this song.
Oh my god, he's an anime protagonist.
So what just happened there? Like, a lot of people comment like, wow, if the frog is really that powerful, you know, he should just be able to blaze through everything. But there's another factor at play here, which is that that entrance was the original entrance to the cave, but Magus had sealed it closed. And what the Masamune does is it absorbs magic out of things. So if you think about it, that's the reason we stuck the sword in the ground, is to absorb that spell out, and then he just released that power that he absorbed out of there. So yeah, I think that's the definitive explanation. It's canon.
This looks final level-y.
Yeah, I think it was very much was meant to be, or to feel that way. Because according to the information that our characters have at the moment is that Magus apparently also created Lavos as like an ultimate weapon against the Guardia Kingdom. You still haven't seen what Lavos is or anything, I suppose. But you'll see him soon. Yeah, great music in here. Best track. Yeah, we'll have a little bit more ambience in a moment. I'm actually gonna go ahead and I did fall off RNG because I got in an extra fight. So I'm just gonna do a reload real quick here. That should do it.
Wait, so what did you just do there by cycling through the menu?
Yeah, it was kind of just to help me with the timing. I was kind of just counting the time, and so yeah, it's a pretty large window that I have to hit. It's like 2/3 of a second. It's pretty decent, but I don't know if I hit it or not by the damage that is that frog takes right here. It should be 45 or 46. Yeah, I think.
So he said 100 beasts.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Are you gonna fight all of them?
I would if I could, dude.
Oh.
But there are 100. It's pretty funny.
I'd like
You
to
can't
see like a speed run of that.
Dude, that'd be pretty
It's
hype.
like one of those Paper Mario games, 100 floor speed runs. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess that might be a... Okay, let's see. Don't want to forget this menu. Okay, there we go. So, coming up here is the boss that has its targeting AI is very, very funky, so we can exploit that to great profit. Well, there's this little prelude fight here. Ooh. That sounded great in the headphones. So we did put the Berserker on Frog, so he's going to be auto-attacking. And, yeah. The Masamune is it's extremely powerful. So it's pretty fortunate that the speedrun, just gives you this crazy powerful weapon. The game just gives it to you. So that combined with the Berserker, which is 150% damage, and so forth. Yeah. Can make pretty quick work of him. Of the magician.
We have a $5 anonymous donation that says Rich Evans is a plague to mankind.
Thrilling gameplay.
Hi Kyle, you hack fraud, from Leon Nissan. Thank you for your donation.
Frog also has a very good hit rate, or critical hit rate. This can also...
Oh, sorry. What's going on?
Because of the way Flea's AI is bugged, for some reason the second character attacking causes him to just not do anything. And this, without RNG manipulation, this is a very, very difficult, grueling, scary fight. There we go. This was one of the very first boss, fight RNG manipulations that was found as well. Like back in 2013. And then from there we started scripting more and more fights, and now it's totally like we have everything routed down to very, very precisely. Yeah, that flea fight, it can be a bathroom break if you're bold. But there's a better one coming up next. I probably won't use it.
Hey, I don't mean to interrupt you, but we just hit the $500 raised milestone.
Wowzers.
With a $22.76 donation from Daniel Tinkler. Thank you, Daniel, and 500 raised, half of our first $1,000 milestone.
Holy smokes. Yeah, word. That's fast. Mm-hmm.
It's been 5 hours. Pretty impressive.
So it looks like I'm kind of, doing my inputs kind of leisurely, but it turns out that it's, let's see. Oh, I wanted to do that way. I think I messed up a little bit. That's all right. What I was about to say was, it's there's great advantage to inputting your attacks during attack animations when possible, because if you open your menu at any other time, you just you pause everyone's ATBs, which is the turn meter, so it it just causes the fight to not progress as quickly. Alright, we're probably in good shape here. If I need to improvise a little bit at the end, I'll do that. But Frog is getting the crits, and that's the main thing. Frog is dealing pretty much double the damage of our other characters, so him getting the crits is pretty important.
Hi, Liam. What's up?
So Slash will begin to do some pretty hefty counterattacks once he drops below 600 HP. So if we line this up right, then, you know, since Frog is doing 400 damage, we can try to squeeze by with only getting one counter. Looks like that is the case. There we go. I did a heal just to be safe on Robo. He didn't need that much HP. Alright.
So out of curiosity, does the game scale with you? Or is it set and
No.
you can just grind and sweep through everything?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, it's all set, and in fact, you can almost. Yeah, you can sweep through everything. In fact, this is a pretty nice place to grind and get like. No, actually, the next dungeon though is like made for grinding. In fact, and there was even grinding, a lot of grinding in the speedrun before some of the new glitches were found. It was like half an hour of grinding, in fact, to defeat the last boss. But now we have kind of a special way of defeating him. That might be spoilers, might not be.
Yeah, it's interesting that a lot of the combat is still dictated by, actual... Or a lot of the combat for the speedrun is still dictated by the actual gameplay. And it's still, a numbers game. But
yeah, very much.
It just seems like that there are fewer cheese fights than I thought there'd be.
All right, so we got through that that hallway. So now we have some platforming, some obstacles to dodge. We want to try not to get hit by any of these guillotines and take damage. I'm gonna just play it slow. If we don't take any damage or anything, we can skip like healing up before Magus, which is the boss coming up. And yeah, if you stand still, then fights won't activate. They're totally activated by you. You have to initiate. You have to initiate by touching the enemy.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
if you just stay still, you can have the enemies move right through you
Yeah,
and avoid that.
for sure. Let's see if I can get this. No. So here, we can do this trick to. There we go. Kind of push him out of bounds there. And there we go. No sweat.
Now, when was the last time a save point showed up in-game?
There was one right after the Slash fight. I don't know. They're somewhat generous with save points, but I haven't been using them very often. You can also save on the overworld. I've done that a couple of times. Let's see. So it's a little bit faster to put Luca in here for her fire. These jugglers are supposed to be pretty strong, and when you hit them with a magic attack, they'll switch to, first they're vulnerable to magic, and then they'll switch and only be vulnerable to physical, and so forth. But Luca, her magic is pretty strong, and she's able to make pretty quick work of them. They have 450 HP. That's So I haven't been going out of my way to pick up any treasures or anything whatsoever, but sometimes they'll just throw some equipment right in front of me, and I'll just grab those as I go.
Is there a reason you were zigzagging?
Yeah, there was enemies through the middle of the hallway, but you could stay to one side or the other, but I like to do both. So this is kind of a joke fight.
Finally fighting him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say honestly, it's super impressive that the transition into combat is very seamless. Like, there's no downtime at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because in Final Fantasy games and like other older JRPGs, like that's the most frustrating part is seeing the game take the time to go into combat.
Yeah, for sure. There's a PlayStation port of this game, speaking of, and it's they kind of botched the port. Like the load times, like actually battles initializing is just it's painful. It's really too bad. But that port also has drawn anime cutscenes by Toriyama in it. But luckily, those are also in the DS version, although it's a little bit smaller screen to enjoy it on.
Interesting.
We have $50. Says, hey Ozzymo, this is other Ozzy from the Discord channel. Hate you for stealing my nickname, but love you dearly. Don't be a stranger and hang with us sometime. Also, to the group, cool charity all of you are doing. This is from Ozzydon. Thank you so much for the $50.
That's not my username anymore, Ozzy. But thank you for... Wait, did you just donate 50? Well, I'll talk to you later on Discord, but cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, dude.
Alright, here we go. So I could explain how this boss fight works. It's it's kind of similar to with the jugglers introduced. You'll attack him with the spell, and then he'll change the spell that he's vulnerable to, or the magic type that he's vulnerable to. And then after doing that for a while, he'll go into a second phase where he starts, charging up his powerful attack. But since we're manipulating RNG, we know that which barriers he's going to put up, and so Shadow is the best one. And the other one we can do is lightning. We don't have any fire or water. Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting that there are a lot of like elements of the gameplay mechanics that are... So are they dictated by this same RNG string that you said you're manipulating?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we basically know everything that's going to happen in this fight. We know who Magus is going to target for that extra little attack he did, and so forth. Even all the damage numbers are predicted.
So all of the low combat and the enemy AI and the abilities that they're using are all dictated by one RNG string.
Yes.
Why?
But it's kind of a double-edged sword because if you make one little input mistake, you're back on, you gotta improvise.
Right, right.
And the thing about... Let's see. Oh, what am I doing? Oh. Oh. This is... Okay. There we go. Just go. Just go, dude.
Yeah. So there has not been a name donated yet for Magus, so if you would like to get Magus named, feel free to donate and get that in there.
Actually, we're not gonna be seeing Magus. I apologize.
Alright, well, never mind, but you can still donate anyways, but you might not get to name Magus.
Yeah. It will be very much appreciated, but that's some extra content we're actually not gonna get to. So the end is pretty straightforward. I did fall off my script, but it's easily fixed. It's the beginning of the fight where he's choosing which barriers to put up is the important part. That should do it. Okay.
Oh, of course there's a bigger boss.
Mm-hmm.
Mode 7!
So this text advances by itself. This can be a break. Yeah.
At some point, I would love and appreciate if you could break down like your notes, because that just looks like absolute gibberish.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is how I haven't written notes out like this in quite a while, but it's just, you know, which moves I should combine into one turn, and then I put a semicolon for when the boss is going to do something big that I can just wait through. Yeah, it's not that complicated. Yeah, so we do have a, Chrono Trigger speedrunning wiki that actually has, like, all the notes fully written out. And
there's a wiki.
Yeah, It's chrono.wikidot.com. It probably sounds confusing, but yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna see real quick how deep this rabbit hole goes.
All right. Oh, wait a minute. What did I just do? Okay, so we're coming up on actually like the last major dungeon of the game. There will be another, like, oh, did I hit it or not? No, I didn't. I hate this fade out. Fade outs when you're going purely vertically are kind of difficult because you don't have as much of a visual cue as to how far you've moved. Oh, all right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the website now.
Mm.
This is pretty ridiculous. Impressive and ridiculous.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of a reading you might want to do at the very top, but yeah, it's sort of abbreviated. But each line is just all the mirror moves to combine into one turn, and just go line by line. It was pretty fun setting that side up though, with the collapsible parts and collapsible sections. Oh. Okay. Yeah, and there's maps. There's a fight and counter, fight trigger maps, so you know where to avoid. And we have a Discord too, of course. Who doesn't anymore?
About how many times a year would you say you complete Chrono Trigger?
Well, that's pretty hard to say. I don't stream really, regularly. I'd like to stream more, but I don't know, just not as much as you think. Maybe I do a lot of practice sessions where I'm not really going for completion.
So I wondered for RPGs, do you do it? Do you always do it from the cartridge for when you're practicing, or do you have ROMs that with specific save states for specific portions of the game?
We do have a practice ROM where there's some warps, and things you can do. It's pretty, I don't know. It's pretty rough. It needs improvement. But, yeah, there is that. But practicing, with an SD2 SNES, or even emulator, is very useful as well. I forgot to take that off. Forgot to do a menu here. It's not a big deal. Okay. And yep, and yeah. Okay, there we go. What does the stream say for my estimate? What does my estimate say on the stream?
Let me go check.
It should be. I think I might have misspoke. 3 hours?
Oh, he was wondering what his estimate was.
Yeah.
It is 350.
Okay. I meant to say 250. 3 hours is what's on the schedule. Oh, if you can hear me. Yeah. Right. I just don't want to surprise the other runners an hour sooner.
We have a $25 donation from Mark Zingler with no message, but thank you, Mark, for your donation.
Alright, let's do a reload here for RNG purposes. So this will set up for for a bunch of crits on Black Tyranno, the next fight coming up. Alright, cool. Learned Ice Sword, very important. Alright. Okay. Yeah, there was a pretty tight little battle skip there. Well, actually not tight compared to some others, but it was 4 pixels. There's some other 4 pixel ones. Yeah, and fortunately, the floor design is kind of really facilitates a visual cue there. All right, here we go. So the dinosaur people know that they are fated to extinction. It's kind of interesting. Forgot to put the berserker on. That's all right. I was waiting for an auto attack. Well. This happens.
So what are you trying to manipulate here?
I'm trying to get on a specific battle value for critical hits on the boss. And yeah. Not having Berserker in that fight is a deal breaker, though. I felt like I had forgotten something. That's why I hesitated on the save point before. Oh man. All right. It's fine. Okay. So I have been doing all the fights so far on the fastest battle speed 1. There's 1 through 8. And if you don't have Berserker, it's a very good idea to not be on battle speed 1, at least 2. Because this boss is very fast and dangerous.
Yeah, so like I had mentioned earlier, you're playing this boss fight like as a regular fight, right? There's nothing that you're really messing with aside from the critical hits.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so like you had to get your character as in your party to like this is the least powerful you could get them to feasibly win the fight.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we like there was we didn't fight any of the other battles in the well, actually, let's see. Huh. Am I wrong here? Let me see. Oh, I gotta wait. Yeah. Okay. So never mind. We did do two of those like fights with the volcano enemies outside the door, just to learn the spin cut move, and like that was the bare minimum that we could do. So this guy has a lot of health. With the de-equip glitch, it does boost our magic defense for certain elements. It actually does not apply to fire damage, which is what this guy is gonna go ahead and unleash. So if you weren't very impressed by how much damage the bosses were doing to me before, this move coming up that we call the barbecue is gonna look kind of dire. Like there's no way that Marl can survive it, so we're not even gonna try to have her survive. And of course, if Chrono dies as well, it's over because Ayla we have no control over. She's just doing her own thing. We're waiting to get chomped again. I'll do some ice swords. I'll just do an extra ice sword just to be safe.
Yeah, this is kind of scary how like your entire party is double-digit health.
Yeah. Indeed. But because Ayla's auto attack pauses the ATB for us, we can, comfortably put in quite a few inputs. We're in very good shape. No worries. I think one more ice sword now, or this could possibly even be it. After Ayla's attack.
Just kill him. Just kill the dinosaur.
All right, dude. Watch this. Actually, that was kind of scary. I think Ayla will get another attack in. I should have just slashed. Alright. I psyched myself out a little bit. Yeah, he kind of just evaporates. So there's just one more boss we're going to fight in the run. So rest assured, we're getting there. Actually, I don't need that anymore. So that cutscene was showing the origin of Lavos. He's from outer space, and he is. Oh, here, I'll let it play out. The twist is that he is also the reason for the dinosaurs' extinction.
It'll be fine.
They're okay, dude. It's just a little crater. So the next thing we're gonna do, after this, we're gonna do a little bit of walking around here. But what we're aiming to do next is we're actually going to go do a side quest dungeon to get a very particular key item that'll let us beat the final boss. But so now we're mostly focusing on setting up for the lava shell skip. We needed to progress up to unlocking this gate, because when we unlock that gate, then they will appear in the end of time, and we need those pillars for kind of doing the skip. It's kind of like that earlier trick I did in the end of time, where I stored a pillar beneath the old man's text box. But with this, with the lava shell skip, it's basically the same concept, but you're stacking three of those warps on top of each other, and then you can zip in a very interesting way. And then I don't know. It's hard to explain, of course. But yeah, it's basically a wrong warp. Alright, so we climbed up this floating island just to talk to this one person right here. We tell her to plant it, and then we get out of here. And that opens up the side quest. That's as far in the main storyline as we're gonna go. I didn't really think about that we were doing donation incentives. I could have offered to do a slightly different ending, which would entail seeing more of the key characters in the Kingdom of Zeal. I didn't really think about it till now, but
Well, keep it in mind for next time.
yeah, for sure. I'll just save here. So if you're familiar with Chrono Trigger, there's a thing you can do with the pendant in the Magic Kingdom that lets you kind of start to unlock some pretty powerful sealed doors and chests, and which contain powerful equipment. So we're not even doing that in this run. I'll get this text out of the way now. All right. So I didn't write down my notes for this last boss, but It's not too scary to just kind of play it safe. All right. Let's see, shelter. Oh yeah. Okay. One last RNG reload, hopefully. And that's just a bright load where you just react to the screen coming up bright. It's the easiest RNG load to pull off. Is that Minesweeper? No. Hope you guys are excited for the Minesweeper run coming up next after this. I sure am. Think of this as the Minesweeper pre-show. Oh shoot. Okay. There we go. So hopefully I get a good sand cyclone. Oh. Yeah. Sorry, I'll try not to do too many revives. That's kind of rough. Yeah, that was a bad choice. Sorry. Revives are kind of a rough sound effect. Oh, I know what I should be doing. Alright. Alright. Okay. Wow. Hmm. Hmm. So yeah, this is a pretty pretty tough boss fight. And I'm pretty under-equipped for it, but so it's just you gotta slog through. And try not to kill the core is another big part of it. Because if you kill the core, he starts rampaging. And there's basically very little chance of survival. Oh yeah, should be doing next strikes. There we go. All right, that's it for the fights. Thank goodness. So we're just gonna pick up oh my god, a couple items in here, and we're gonna go skip the shell and beat the game. Oh, I don't need that either. I only need the elixir. All right, let's go.
Hi, I'm back. So, what's going on?
Yo, we're just going to do a little bit of farming. We're going to leave Robo here with Fiona to replant the forest.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
what year is this right now?
This is 600 AD, and we're going to travel forward 400 years to when the forest is revived. And then there's just a little bit more cutscene, and then we'll be calling it a run. Basically, depending on how Lava Shell Skip cooperates, but shouldn't be too bad. I predict.
So this is 600 AD right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the present era in this game is 1000 AD.
1000. What was the future one, like the post-apocalyptic one?
Yeah, that was 2300 AD.
2300 AD.
Yeah. And the apocalypse supposedly happens in 1999.
Haha.
So.
Because number overflow.
Yeah.
Man, 2300. I'm not gonna be alive by then. Yeah.
Hard to say, dude. I don't know.
Maybe if technology like advances fast enough, so I'll be like 100 years old and like, hey, we have technology to live 150, and then I live 150 years old, and they go like, yeah, technology to live until 200 years old.
Yeah, yeah.
And
at some point, the curve will catch up. Yeah. So here we go. Nice forest. This was just an open plain before.
So why are we making the forest again?
It's just part of the plot, sort of. It's a side quest. Yeah. Do you mean why in the story are we making the forest? Just because it's a good thing to do. Care for the environment. Yeah. What's up? I can't. Oh, thumbs up. Agreed.
So back there, a few minutes ago, you were fighting Magus because we thought he summoned Lavos, right?
Right.
But
Or we thought he created Lavos.
created.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why we thought that, but it turns out that he was trying to summon him,
Okay.
and by the time we fought him, it was too late.
So when it comes to Magus, we can't. Can we change his name? I guess when he joins our
Oh.
party, right?
He's not going to in this run. We're actually almost done. So yeah. Enter password, as in hold the buttons. Hold all the buttons. Alright. So, yeah, this was kind of Luca's past, where it kind of reveals why she decided to become, like, a scientist, inventor. And, yeah. It's a pretty touching scene. I apologize for mashing through it. But there, Robo gives us the green dream, which is it auto-revives one character once in a battle if they're down. So, and that's basically what makes the Lavos, like, fighting the last boss possible at this level. Having that one auto-revive, because otherwise he basically takes us. He takes us down in one shot, our whole party.
Yeah, you're going to be under-leveled for that, right?
Yeah, by quite a bit. This is my final level right now, level 18.
What's your expected level?
I think you're meant to be like in the 50s or so when you're fighting Lavos. Yeah.
That's like half that, like what we
Yeah.
got.
Yeah, for sure. How close am I? Just a few minutes left. A few. Depending on how this final trick goes. I should say maybe like 5 to 10. 5 to 10 maybe. I shouldn't. I don't know how loud I should speak while I have the mic on.
Yeah, I mean, if you yell at people like across the room, it'll be like pretty loud to the mic, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I
You can talk
apologize.
louder, though, I think.
Okay, yeah. That might be the case. So here we're all ready to do the lava shell skip. This is what everyone has been waiting for. Who knows what it is anyway. So this is what differentiates the run from the no lava shell skip run. And so now we have all the pillars unlocked. We need all of them. And I'm going to reload here. Actually, this is for RNG. I forgot about this load. And then we're going to try to do the setup. And so at the moment, I'm trying to break away my team by using this lag. Okay, there, that should be good. It's a decent breakaway. And that just lets my third party member be a little bit further away and gives me some time for the text to write out here.
Oh, what the hell?
Let's see. I think the G is good.
Go to
And we're done. Okay.
All right.
First
Oh.
try.
Oh my god.
As long as I can. Come on. I didn't like that. Okay. I didn't hear the noise, so I was concerned.
Is it working?
Yeah, no, it was just a game.
Okay. Everyone's like flying around.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here we go. I think that should be good. No, a little bit higher, maybe. Oof. That was a little bit sketchy, but I think we made it in.
Yeah.
So we're transporting to this map on a certain coordinate. It remembers our coordinate for some reason, and so it'll put us right on the lava shell door. So it's not. Yeah. So there you saw it for a split second. I'm just gonna pause the menu here. And there we are, inside of the shell. So we skipped like a... it's a 15-minute boss fight, but also there's a lot more preparation that you need to do for it than what I have done. So there we go, we're in there.
So when you get the green dream earlier, is that like a side quest thing then? It's like not a required thing?
Right, it's not... yeah, it's an optional quest, but it's very much, required for this
Technically
to
it
beat
like
the speed run.
Yeah. It's like saves time for any percent, right? True any percent.
Yeah, and you'll see why.
Yeah,
The green dream is what facilitates this. It's a glitch to beat lavas. So yeah, keep an eye.
Right. Well, let's go.
Word.
This character. Yep. I should stop mentioning Dragon Ball Z. Like, now the audience are talking about it.
Boom. So
Hope you liked your arms.
so we threw, basically we threw an elixir at him, which overflowed his HP. So yeah, it's an HP overflow glitch. The green dream, what the green dream actually does is it, when all your party dies and then one revives, like the game freaks out. Like, you try to use an item and it thinks all your party is still dead, so it like kicks you out of your item menu. And so if you then go ahead and attack the boss, it still has the item queued up. So when you attack the boss, the item comes out. You're not. Otherwise, you're unable to use items on enemies in this game. Oh.
Just wondering, is there any 100% run of this?
100% run? Yeah, there is.
I wonder how OP you get with that.
Okay, there we go. And time, by the way. I didn't give you warning.
What? And what about his true form?
His true form?
Yeah.
That was
What?
that was his true form. Huh?
That's it.
That's it.
What was that?
Yeah. Aside from that kind of a rocky start at the, that wasn't a bad time. Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you. Oh. There. There you go. Oh, I'm glad to hear it. Yo, yeah. Minesweeper coming up next, by the way. Get hype. Yeah, dude. All right. So I don't know.
Minesweeper's gonna be great.
It is. Yeah, I'm excited. Unironically.
All right, thank you again to Redslash for that fantastic Chrono Trigger run. It's a little bit of